Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Oldsmar City Council meeting of Tuesday, December 4th, 2018 to order. If you'll please rise for our invocation, and our pledge will be led by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Our Heavenly Father, we meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, and to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, as well as the rights and needs of both the individual and our community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and once again, welcome. Your eyes are not deceiving you. I do have a tie on tonight, which is not normal for me, so I'm feeling okay, just for the record. Thank you for coming tonight. I hope you got to join us across the street for the ceremony tonight. That was great. Oldsmar Elementary School singing for us, and the vice mayor trying to sing along, but it didn't go so well. But our goodness, all right.
Glad the elections part for me is over.
Yeah, that would be not good.
No.
Our first item tonight is the Citizens Open Forum. We only have a couple of rules that you state your name and address clearly for the record. Keep it to no more than 5 minutes. You can speak towards anything on tonight's agenda if you wish, because there are no public hearings tonight. Having said that, we'll start on this side of the room. Jerry.
Good evening. Jerry Antozzi, 509 Shore Drive East in Oldsmar. Yeah.
Oh, you forgot where you live?
Yes, I almost did. I'm here on behalf of the Oldsmar Historical Society and just wanted to reiterate from what Ken Sidorowicz said out by the tree lighting. We are going to have an Oldsmar Historical Walking Tour this coming Saturday, 10 to 11. And we're going to miss Gabby. She's, over the years, she's been our leader. But Ken Sidorowicz is going to be leading the tour, and I'll be walking with him. Wear comfortable shoes. At the end, we'll stop at the Women's Club of Oldsmar and you'll get to see the inside of the Women's Club. It's a 1924 building, and you'll also have light refreshments. So looking forward to you all attending if you can. The other thing I'd like to bring up is 3 groups: the Friends of the Oldsmar Public Library, the Women's Club of Oldsmar, and the Oldsmar Historical Society is real pleased to have an Oldsmar history raffle. And the raffle, there's a donation of 1 ticket for $5, 3 tickets for 10, 10 tickets for 20, and you'd really want to win this. It's Jerry Beaverland's 4 books about Oldsmar. One of the books is out of print. They're all signed. And the drawing will not be until January 26th, which I know the Women's Club of Oldsmar has already told you to put that date on your calendar, because that's the celebration of the 100th year of the Women's Club of Oldsmar. And because they started the celebration is going to be at Oldsmar Public Library from 1 to 3 on the 26th, and that's when the drawing's going to be. But you can make a donation to any 3 of the groups, and it benefits all 3.
Good. Awesome.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, before you go, Jerry, I would implore the mayor to put $25 in there, and you all pray that he does win it, so he could.
He only needs 20,
so he could learn about a little bit about the history.
I don't need to have the books. I can just come to council meetings and learn about the history.
That's right. Might be a 5th book, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
No.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
But Jerry, I'll tell you what you could do, and this wouldn't take too much time. I still have the second book. I've got 2 of them. I ain't giving that to anybody. I may give you all one. but that's the one, the rarest of the bunch. That's why they don't have any now. They,
Right, is the foot with all the photos. The fat one, yes. Yes.
It cost me $105 to print each one of them because it's all in color and it's thick.
Right. But they can win, you know, they make a donation, they have a chance to win all 4, not just one, all 4.
Y'all still have one of those?
That's what you gave us. You signed all 4.
Hey, you know what, Jerry?
I know, I
Quiet.
should have said no.
No, they don't have the second one.
No,
Larry.
no,
They
you-
just don't have that one.
I got the originals, okay?
Right.
What y'all could do is sit down and copy them. You can make your own book, because I got the originals to do that with.
Well-
That book, I got to brag about it. It is incredible. The photographs are incredible in that book.
Oh,
Sold
well,
for
come and
75. The library sold them for $75 each.
see, a donation of $5 for one ticket is good.
Get it for you.
Yes. And one last thing that I did this weekend is I went to the very last ski show, water ski show. So if you can find a lake here in Oldsmar, as maybe I think I heard 6 feet they needed, the show could continue.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
tried and tried. It
Yeah,
just
it's
doesn't-
very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, they've been a great thing for the community. Too bad their landlord won't let them stay.
That's
it.
right. That's right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Anybody else on this side of the room? How about this side of the room? Ah, nice. Seeing no one, we'll close the citizens' open forum. A couple items, we'll do a little recap. I mentioned it earlier, the annual tree lighting ceremony. Tonight was our annual tree lighting ceremony. We had the Oldsmar Elementary Choir performing holiday tunes, plus poems by our new poet laureate and Oldsmar resident. Great to see the switch flipped and our tree lit up. And thank you to all the city staff that really work hard to put that together and make it a great event for the community. So thanks to everybody that came out tonight. Upcoming event and reminders. City offices, library, and facilities will be closed Monday, December 24th and Tuesday, December 25th in observance of Christmas, and closed on Tuesday, January 1st in observance of the new year. Note, council meeting rescheduled for Wednesday, January 2nd. Wednesday, January 2nd, same time right here in this facility. Mayor's breakfast is this coming Friday, December 7th at 7:30 a.m. at Nielsen. It's the Safety Harbor Mayor, Joe Ayub, and I will be there to help raise donations to provide holiday meals and gifts to needy children and families in our communities. Tickets are $25 and can be purchased at City Hall or the Chamber of Commerce. Our inaugural holiday golf cart parade, Friday, December 7th. Can't wait to see all the inaugural holiday golf carts rolling down State Street to escort Santa Claus to Christmas Wonderland, Friday, December 7th from 5 to 9 at Orioles Park. Giant snow slope inflatables and $3 photos with Santa, plus lots of free entertainment throughout the night. And I think today or tomorrow is the last day to register the golf carts. What is the? Today, okay. Today's the last day to register your golf cart. Where are we? Fire Rescues Annual. This is a great event if you've got kids or for adults as well. Saturday, December 8th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the fire station. Family-friendly event featuring ornament making, fire truck rides, special guests including Santa. Bring a new unwrapped toy for 14 and under, and help the kids help their Toys for Tots drive. Saturday is Breakfast with Santa, December 15th, 9 to 10 at the Oldsmar Chick-fil-A. Tickets include kid meal, picture with Santa, and a gift from the Jolly Fellow. Adults must purchase a meal or admission ticket. Advanced meal tickets can be purchased at the State Street Center, which is right next door, the Cypress Forest Rec Center, or cash only the day of the event at Chick-fil-A. Holiday at Hogwarts, Saturday, December 15th, 12 to 2 p.m. at the Oldsmar Public Library. Free, family-friendly children's party. Dress up as your favorite Harry Potter character. Enjoy crafts, butterbeer, and tabletop. I messed this up. Quidditch. And more. Quidditch. Quidditch? Quidditch. There's not a W in there. Also, winter break. This is great for you if you have kids. The weekdays, December 26th through January 4th, except for New Year's Day. Campers ages 5 to 12 can participate in gym games, art projects, nature adventures, and park trips with rec cards. $120 for both weeks, or $60 for week 1 and $70 for week 2. Details on upcoming events at myoldsmar.com. And I just want to take a special thanks to our man behind the camera tonight, Mr. Mike Hurley. This is his last meeting filming us tonight, so make us look good. No shenanigans back there, except on him. He is moving on to something he really loves, which is being involved with motorcycle racing, so and the motorcycle sport. So we wish you the best, and thanks for everything you do. Please zoom on in on the vice mayor as much as you can tonight. That would be great. So that's all I
Get
have.
off of him.
That's all I have for the mayor's minute. Next is awards and recognitions, and our first item is the presentation of the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for 9/30/2017. We have Kim Adams here to do the presentation, so welcome to the City of Oldsmar.
Thank you for having me, and good evening. I am the Finance Director for the City of Largo, but tonight I have the honor of representing the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada, also known as the GFOA. And I'll be presenting the City of Oldsmar with the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the city's 2017 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, also called the CAFR. And the CAFR is available online on the City of Oldsmar's website, so I'd encourage all citizens to get on the website and download that award-winning report. The GFOA is a professional association with offices in Chicago and Washington, D.C., and represents over 19,000 finance officers and other finance professionals. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition available for government financial reporting, and receiving the award represents a significant achievement for the City of Oldsmar. I'd like to introduce a brief video by the GFOA's Executive Director.
Greetings from the Government Finance Officers Association. I'm Chris Morrill, GFOA's Executive Director. It's my honor to announce that the City of Oldsmar has won the GFOA's Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for its 2017 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. This represents the 27th consecutive year that the City of Oldsmar has won the certificate, demonstrating your commitment to preparing an annual financial report that is organized, readable, and transparent. Meeting the high standards required to win this award is a mark of distinction of which you should be very proud. With this achievement, the City of Oldsmar joins with only a small percentage of U.S. local governments that have won this prestigious award. I congratulate Mayor Doug Beavis and the entire finance team for this accomplishment. I also want to recognize your finance officer, Cynthia Nino. To learn more about GFOA and about this and our other award programs, please visit us at gfoa.org. Thank you and congratulations again on this impressive achievement.
So, why should the public care about the city receiving this award? Well, first, preparing the CAFR promotes greater financial transparency, which demonstrates the city's commitment and its willingness to fully disclose financial information. Second, preparing the CAFR demonstrates a high level of technical competence of the government's finance staff, because preparing an award-winning CAFR is no easy task. Therefore, issuing the award-winning CAFR helps instill greater public trust and confidence in the government's financial practices. The GFOA award program sets very high standards for financial reporting, standards most local governments can't or won't meet. Only cities that issue a CAFR are eligible to receive the award. And the award program subjects the CAFR to a rigorous review by several individuals. The review checklist is 79 pages long, covers the entire CAFR from the table of contents to the statistical section at the end. Since Oldsmar has issued an award-winning CAFR for almost 3 decades, the CAFR might be taken a little for granted. So here's a couple of things you might be interested in. Issuing a CAFR is not required by accounting standards or by the state. So even without receiving the award, the CAFR already goes above and beyond the minimum requirements and provides additional valuable information to the public. Many and maybe most local governments do not issue a CAFR, and not every government that issues a CAFR can receive the GFOA award. In the United States, there are roughly 36,000 cities, towns, and villages. Of those 36,000, 2,100 receive the GFOA award. So Oldsmar is among an elite group of local governments that not only issues a CAFR, but receives the GFOA award as well. On behalf of the GFOA, I congratulate the City of Oldsmar for preparing an award-winning CAFR for fiscal year 2017. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Kim. We are beyond amazed and honored that you were able to come and present this award to us. Mr. Adams is among the gold standard of finance directors in the area, and he's looked up, everyone looks up to him, so he's one of our mentors. So whenever we have a question, it's always a WWK do, or KD, what would Kim do? So thank you very much, Kim. I'd like to acknowledge our amazing staff. Not everyone's here tonight, but Amy Ratliff, she's the main number cruncher. Sandy Winkler, she's number cruncher number 2. Garrett Zila, everything else. And John Dauphiné, also everything else. So, all right, thank you for giving us the opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I've heard you're a legend. Corey, you got back here. How do you want us? Oh, that old trick.
Amy, it's upside down. Just kidding.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yeah, and we'd like to thank Kim for all your knowledge and wisdom that you have shared with Al to make us the city that we are. And I know you have some things that you would like to.
Only to make sure before he escapes, I worked for Mr. Adams for 2.5 years, and I was the finance director of Madeira Beach for 12 years before that. And for the entire 12-year period I had flying by the seat of my pants, Kim was the person I called when I had a problem or a question, and he taught me more in 2.5 years than I had learned and known the 12.5 prior to that, especially regards investment. So never had the chance to publicly thank you for that, but you are the cheese.
And you're a great student.
It's an inside joke.
We're going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to go to the presentation of the Council Manager Award for December 2018. That will be Council Member Dan Saraki.
Thank you, Mayor.
Happy holidays, everybody. I want to start out by saying that the Council Manager Award is a kind of a special award for a citizen or an individual within the city that steps outside of the box and kind of performs extra duties or takes on extra roles that are not usually in their program and just take the extra step and do some special things. And I am just so honored today to give this award to our Administrative Services Director from the City of Oldsmar, Cindy Nino.
I know. It's Neno.
Neno, Cindy Neno. I have a couple things, but before I start reading this, I want to just tell everyone a little short story about Cindy. Bruce was the city manager, and he told me to go work with Cindy on the Centennial. And I went into her office one day, and I sat down with her for the first time that I really got to meet you. That was 2014. And I sat down, and she was very calm. She was very cool and collect. And I was kind of nervous because I wanted to get things organized and I wanted to get things done. And she was like, "Don't worry about anything. We'll take care of it." And I went back and I did all this accounting work for her. She kind of instructed me on what to do. And I put everything in a software program called Quicken. And I added all our centennial data in there. And then I took it over to her and I had it on the laptop and I put it in her office and she tucked it over underneath her desk over there. And I said, okay. And she says, don't worry about it. We'll take care of all your nonprofit stuff and don't worry about it. So a couple of weeks later, I came back to her office and I said, how are we doing? Oh, well, I haven't looked at it yet, but I'll get there. And it worked out where Cindy, in a long story, short story, she always got things done. No matter what we were working on, whether it was the Centennial or the Historical Society, I really do appreciate you going the extra mile to make sure that we got stuff done, and that's why I'm giving you this award today. Now, I want to read your little bio that you wrote for me. Cindy is a lifelong resident of the Tampa Bay area. Cindy grew up in Tarpon Springs. She graduated from USF with a degree in accounting. Worked in the private practice CPA firm for over 6 years. When her son was born, Cindy quickly realized that she could no longer work the long tax season hours with a baby at home. 20 years ago, in July of 1999, she accepted a position with the city as a senior accountant, seeking an easy job, she says here. She had planned to only stay for a few years at the city, returning to the private sector once her son started school. Little did she know there was much to be done. It started at the city immediately following the computer conversion, which was necessary due to Y2K. We all remember that. Everyone thought we were all going to die. This created a unique opportunity for Cindy to dig and learn as much as she could about the new system, fixing, coding, conversion errors, and implementing new system features whenever she's seen an opportunity. Process improvement had always been one of Cindy's favorite things to do. And soon became an in-house expert, mostly by default. Her supervisor, Al, always allowed Cindy to take on any challenges or processes improvement that she thought would be worthy. Perhaps Al was giving her enough rope to hang herself. The city was growing rapidly and challenges never seemed to end, allowing Cindy to work her way up through the ranks over time. 3 years flew by. The years flew by. Her baby boy is now a senior in college, and Cindy is approaching her 20th year with the city. She is honored to be a part of Oldsmar's family and to have had these opportunities during her career. Cindy is currently serving as the president of the Gulf Coast chapter of the FGFOA, a member of the Government Finance Officers Association, the GFOA, which you just won an award. She's also involved in the Florida Government Finance Officers Association, Women in Public Finance, and the Gulf Coast FGFOA. I want to call down Al because he wants to say something. He promised it would be short.
I'll talk fast.
So come on down, Al, and bring your little story.
We know why it's not important.
I guess Al, so everyone understands, Al's been asking for her to win this award for many years, and she hasn't given him the opportunity, but she gave it to me.
The good news is it's less than 1 page. The bad news is the font is 2-point. A quiet, effective leader who would rather have her staff get recognition than herself, as Dan just said. She possesses a rare set of skills. She's tremendous finance and accounting knowledge and technological aptitude, a combination that has benefited this organization in too many ways to count. She should have an honorary doctorate in process improvement. Maybe we should consider this award as such. Of the 27 years that we've received the GFOA award, she's been responsible for 19 of them every year she's been here. She's also led us to the first of what has now been 5 straight GFOA budget awards.
She's also now the Chief Financial Officer and the Chief Negotiator for Collective Bargaining. Dan mentioned she's currently the president of the GFOA Gulf Coast chapter, the FGFOA. She has also been the supervisory leader for our Olds program, and she is one of 2 directors for our innovation team. She's brilliant, unflappable, determined, persistent, cooperative, helpful, trustworthy, consistent, hardworking, and most of all, nice, although she is tough when she needs to be. You rarely see her leave before 7, and oh yeah, in her spare time, she runs her family's business on the side. Professionally, it's as if she's my smarter little sister, always telling me how I'm wrong and usually being right when she does, and just like my older sister used to do. I trust her more than anyone and can't imagine my life here without her as my most valued teammate. We've been together for more than 19 years, and I pray that she will be here for at least as long as I am. I promise you this, the organization will be fine as long as she's here. There is not a more deserving employee for this award. Congrats, Sin.
Cindy, Al, and I are honored. It's our privilege to give you the Council Manager Award of Recognition for December of 2018. Congratulations.
Picture? You're in the picture.
Not if I hide behind Al, I'm not.
Thank you.
We got 2 pages.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes, I should have let you talk.
She's learning from Al.
You learned from me.
Yeah.
Okay. First off, thank you, Dan, for selecting me for this award. How could I say no to you? And thank you, Al, for keeping me on my toes all these years and giving me the inspiration and sometimes indigestion to consistently retire and think outside the box to solve problems. And thank you to my incredible staff for helping me make my crazy ideas come to reality. Couldn't have done it without you. Never a dull moment. So, as I said before, I truly appreciate the opportunities I've been given by this great city, and I'm looking forward to another exciting year. Thank you all.
Congratulations. We do have an amazing staff, that's for sure. So congratulations to Cindy and her staff under the leadership of Al. Next is the presentation of the Business of the Quarter Award for 4th quarter of 2018, and that is Councilmember Jerry Beaverland.
Before I do that, I want to thank Cindy for all she's done. I'm glad to give this award away. I want to explain something first. I'm not presenting this award tonight to this business because of what they're doing now. I'm giving this award to this business for what they did in the past. We will grade this organization if my water pressure goes up when they finish. Keystone, y'all come up here. This business has been in the city of Oldsmar for 35 years. I didn't realize they were actually here. Turn around this way so they can see. Who's this young guy?
Oh, he's just a visitor.
They don't want you up here. Keystone has been in business for over 35 years in the city of Oldsmar. Now, in the beginning, I didn't know that they were in the city of Oldsmar. They're a family-owned business. This is something that was written out for me. I don't really need it. I've always said this, depending on whether I get my water pressure back, if you ever get this award again. And if I don't get it back, you may never get this award again. In 1988, I sat in a council meeting where the council discussed the almost 7 miles of dirt streets in the city of Oldsmar. We had 4 paved streets. Park Boulevard, Washington, and what's the other one?
Bayview.
Bayview. That's the only paved streets we had in this city. Was Washington, Park Boulevard, and the other one I just forgot about. The rest of the streets in this town were dirt, all dirt. You couldn't open your windows because the dirt would come in. And we lived on the corner of Shore Drive West and Pine Avenue and couldn't open the windows. And I sat there at that meeting, and they discussed paving the streets. And the city engineer, you're going to get another history lesson. I apologize. The city engineer stood up with the backing of the city manager, Bruce, not him. And he made the statement it had cost $18 million to pave the streets in Oldsmar. And I sat out in the audience waiting for somebody to question that. And nobody said a word. I thought to myself, for $18 million in 1990, you could repave Interstate 4. And I couldn't understand why somebody didn't challenge that. So life went on. And I ran in 1990. I actually sued the city, then I ran for council. Because they took 30 foot of my land on Lafayette, 200 foot deep, and cut all my oak trees down. And the city said, we didn't do it. That's why you're sitting here. I got the other attorney fired. Anyway, and then we finally got a great attorney up here. So anyway, I ran for council, and I won. My beautiful wife kept telling me, campaign on paving the streets. And I said, sweetheart, that's all politician in this town has campaigned on for the last 50 years. And there's still dirt streets. So I didn't campaign on that. I was considering that. But anyway, I won. So I wanted to put together a program to pave the streets in the city of Oldsmar. And I didn't know really what I was doing, but I knew I could do something. I went over and talked to a friend of mine, Coy Lee. And Coy says, we have a paving contractor here in the city of Oldsmar. I didn't know that. He said, it's Keystone. So I went over and talked to Keystone, and I don't remember who rode with me. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I got in their truck. I said, I want to go through every street in this town. And I said, I want you to tell me how much it's going to cost to pave the streets in the city of Oldsmar. Now, they already knew all of our dirt streets were shale, that deep. We have a base on every street in this town that's better than the base on Tampa Road. I knew that. And I knew that the Swift Mud and those people who issued permits didn't want us to put culverts everywhere. They wanted to have the water run off into the swales so it could percolate into the ground. I knew that. I also knew $18 million was stupid, but I didn't know how stupid. So we drove all the way down. And I said something I shouldn't have said. But them being honest, it ended up being all right. I told him that the engineer and the city manager said it would cost $18 million to pave the streets in Oldsmar. And I can't remember who was riding with me.
Well, it was either me or Jim. Remember Jim?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was you. I don't know about Jim. And they looked at me like that, and they looked at each other and started laughing. I won't really say what they said, but in the beginning. No, I didn't want to tell you about the bribe. That's a joke, gang. About 2.5 hours later, they calculated, and they said, we'll do it for $1.5 million. And I said, you got to be kidding me. They said, no, we're not kidding you. $1.5 million. It was a no-brainer. So I figured out the whole disposition of it. It would cost the average citizen in the city of Oldsmar 26 cents a year, because I put it on, we'd do it on the 1 cent house tax. I wish you had been here at that time. And I definitely wish Tom had been here. So I made the presentation to Bruce and to Fred Schillhauser, engineer. We're sitting at a table, and Fred says it can't be done. And then Bruce says it can't be done. And Fred said it can't be done once too often. Now, you people that know me, you can believe this. I told Fred, you say the word can't one more damn time, I'm going to throw you out that door. And Bruce said, Fred, you better leave. And I said, before you leave, Fred, I'm going to tell you, this is the actual truth. I said, I'm going to tell you both. We're paving the streets in this town. Get out of my way. I'll run over both of you because I'll be here a lot longer than you're going to live in this city. I said, you can go, friend. And Bruce said, I guess I better get on your bandwagon. We started paving and then Bruce never thought I'd get it passed by the city council, but I did. $18.5 million. There was a major water project that the city needed. It's called the Burbank Water Program. It cost $1 million. The city didn't have the money. So Bruce says, do you mind if I put another $1 million on that $2.5 million? I said, no. Then put another $250,000 on it so we could do all the streets and the drainage in Gulliver Village. It passed. So I'm giving this award to these people for what they've done in 1990. You saved this city $17.5 million. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Well, it's an honor to get this award. It's even a bigger thing to be appreciated by a city that appreciates what we do. Thank you.
There's a bunch of people that appreciate it now because they go down the streets and they don't get swamped with dust. But remember, my water pressure better go up. They are now finally, after
28 years ago.
50 years, the water lines in this part of town were put in 50 years ago. They're finally replacing them. Thank you. Bring my water pressure up.
You guys to move a little bit. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, and incidentally, this is the guy you're gonna have to put up with for the next number of years.
Be the other way around.
No problem. Your award. We have nothing in the CRA. Our next item is the consent docket. We have 4 items. Approve the minutes of the November 6, 2018 City Council meeting. Authorize the city manager to advertise 2019-004 ITB, construction of Harbor Palms infrastructure project. Authorize the city manager to advertise 2019-002 RFP for benefits consulting services. And item number 7, approve the tentative agenda for the January 2nd, 2019 City Council meeting. If nobody wishes to pull anything, I need a motion.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on any of these? If not, all those in favor?
Yes.
Aye, passes 5-0, thank you. Next is, excuse me, is the City of Oldsmar. Our first item is approve the reappointment of Carmen Blatt and Gina Rogers Price and Virginia Cash Rembure as board members of the Leisure Services Advisory Board. I believe a couple of them are here. Virginia is not here, not feeling well. Who's here? I know, yep, come on up.
Gina's here. Carmen.
Welcome. And you don't normally have to, in Virginia, it's a reappointment as well, but we appreciate you taking your time out to come and be here tonight. Leisure Services Advisory Board is probably one of the more fun boards, or can be one of the more fun boards to be on, and we appreciate it. How many years you been on?
2, I
Two,
think.
nice. And?
Same here.
Same, nice. Enjoying it, obviously?
Yes.
And you're still sticking with it, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's a good sign. Mr. Mayor, which one of them are doing the dancing tonight and the other one doing the singing?
Well, Virginia was gonna sing, so she'll have to double up next time, but
I see.
you guys can fight it out, whichever one you want. To dance, you can do one of the Christmas carols that they did last night that the vice mayor botched. So if you wanna do one of.
La, la,
Again?
la, la, la.
La, 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 la. Well, we appreciate it, what you do, and I think the city appreciates it, and the work that you guys do that then comes before us a lot of times is much appreciated by the citizens. What are some of the things that you guys have been involved with that the city might not know about, that have come before you?
Recently, it's been less since we've changed to quarterly meetings, but we hold a big part in the BMX, all that stuff that was going on in the grand openings, and what else, Carmen? I'm drawing a blank.
We're looking at handicap equipment.
Oh, yeah, for the
parks,
playgrounds. Mhm.
The playgrounds, and we're also looking at the dog.
Yeah, the dog, the rules and codes about the dogs being in the parks and where they can and can't be and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
Right.
Because a lot of times what happens is people will bring items to myself or any of the other council members. We may discuss it here at a council meeting, but then ultimately it usually winds up going before you guys to review and then make a recommendation and then they bring it before us. So, we definitely have a process that seems to work very well and for the betterment of the city for sure on a lot of the things that we do. So appreciate all your effort that you guys put in and want to continue to put in. Any other questions for them tonight?
Thank you for it.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And so including Virginia, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second, and motion and a second. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye, thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Yep, happy holidays. Next item is the Watershed Management Plan presentation by Jacobs Engineering Group, formerly CH2 Hill Engineers. And Nan, you want to tee this one up for them? Is Rick Rorsira still there?
Yes.
Tell him I said hi.
So the Watershed Management Plan is a project that's been going on for many years before my time. And we contracted with, at the time, CH2M Hill to perform that work. They have since been bought out by Jacobs. And today, to give us a quick overview of that project that's finishing up, is 2 representatives from Jacobs, Dr. Kirsten Kenty and Dr. Swami Patti. And they're going to give us a quick overview of 4 or 5 years worth of work.
Welcome.
Hello. How do I?
Could be a little
All right.
up there.
So, thank you. It's going to be a quick overview of what we've done. And again, it wasn't just Dr. Patty and I, but there was a team of people that we're representing that we're happy to serve all of you to do this work for you. Quick agenda, we'll talk about the objectives of the Watershed Management Plan, the background information, and then the findings. So the objectives, the main objective was to update the city's existing watershed management plan, which was last visited in 2002, and to develop the 100-year floodplain. So the watershed management plan is how the city manages the water that basically falls as rain, how it flows over the land, and then how it goes through the pipes. So I think you would all agree that your land has changed significantly since 2002, and it was time to think about how the water was flowing relative to that. After developing the floodplain, identify the problem areas, and then develop feasible projects to propose to mitigate either flooding or water quality issues. So what the watershed management plan is not doing, it's not looking at any coastal flooding. So it's not changing hurricane evacuation zones, it's not changing flood insurance rates. And the other thing the watershed management plan is not doing is eliminating all flooding. It's looking at where the biggest problems are and recommending things called best management practices so that we're optimizing where you're spending your money and what projects you're doing to get the best benefit. So how's the process go? Project gets started, you gather the data, you pull it all together, you do the watershed evaluation, because all this data is necessary to build a model. And then that model is used to determine where the flooding is happening or the water quality issues, and then to vet what these best projects are to mitigate them. So what is your watershed? Your watershed is 10 square miles, eastern Pinellas County, and it borders Hillsborough County on the east. It is a nearly isolated watershed, but there is some interaction with the surrounding areas. As I said, we assessed the existing data, the information that was already there, any existing model, and developed an initial model, determined what other data were required, used things like survey and LiDAR to determine topography, refine those data. And then this model was actually calibrated using a real-time event in August of 2015. So it was calibrated against real-time data. And then the model was complete. So the heart of the watershed management plan is the hydrology and hydraulics model. Now, hydrology is just a really fancy engineering word for how the water flows over the land, and hydraulics is a super fancy engineering word for how the water flows through the pipes. So that's what we're looking at here.
Don't belittle it.
No, love hydraulics. You don't get. Nan told me I only had 10 minutes.
Gave you 10? Oh, wow, she was being nice to you.
I have the gavel though, so.
Sorry. So we use the model to develop the 100-year floodplain. The 100-year floodplain is where the the most depth of water is, modeling a 24-hour, 12-inch rainfall. 12 inches of rainfalls in 24 hours. And you run the model till you determine where the deepest water is and how long it stays there, how long it takes to dissipate. So we take that and we use that with your level of service criteria, which are in your ordinances. These are your requirements. And we take those against not just the 100-year storm, but other storm events as defined by your ordinances. And we determine where the model says the level of service will not be met. So for example, for an evacuation in interior road like 580, for that 100-year storm we talked about, there cannot be any flooding on it. So if the model flags flooding, then need to look at that and think about doing something. So these are just the different level of service for the different storms. I'm not going to go through all these one by one, but what's important to notice is that for some of them, wherever you see an E, that means that that is not to be tolerated. If that happens, then it is not within the level of service that your ordinance dictates. And these are for all the different storms. So that's for flood mitigation and how that is looked at. The other piece of the model is for surface water resource assessment. And that's looked at for 3 parameters: total nitrogen, total phosphorus, and total suspended solids, what the water picks up as it goes. And it's done for direct runoff, which is water that runs across the land to surface water, for infiltration, which is water that goes into the ground but still goes to surface water, and for percolation, which is water that not just infiltrates, but gets all the way to the groundwater. So you look at how these parameters affect both groundwater and surface water from the water that's running off or percolating through your watershed. So these three figures represent, starting left going right, the total nitrogen, total phosphorus, and total suspended solids concentrations and where the most likely places for water quality problems might be, where darker represents more of an issue. And these are the places you would look at to try to mitigate water quality issues. So all of that comes together to get to the bottom line of recommending these best management practices. And the goals of these best management practices in order of priority are to reduce flood risk for roadways and buildings and alleviate known or suspected flooding areas, improve water quality, enhance natural systems, and augment groundwater recharge. What might a best management practice look like? Add a new pond, or make an existing pond larger, raise a road to get it out of where the flooding is, upsize existing pipes, add new pipes, or change how the water runs across the surface. The 5 areas that the model identified for further examination of BMPs include the intersection of East Douglas Boulevard and Burbank Road, West Douglas Boulevard between Bayview Boulevard and Commerce Boulevard, the Lockheed Martin property, South Bayview south of Tampa Road, and Pine Street and Marlborough Street. So with that, we'll take any questions.
I got a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are you calling a watershed?
Watershed is the area that was defined where the rain falls.
Then you're wrong.
Well, it's defined by topography. It's defined by both
No,
the
it is, but-
topography and the city boundaries.
But our watershed goes all the way to Keystone.
Yeah.
All of that, 8,000 acres, well, now it's been compressed down to maybe 5,000 acres because of the development of West Hillsborough and on Racetrack Road and up that way. We take all that water down here. That ain't gonna do us a bit of good. So you bring up Douglas and all that. Where's that water come from? It comes from North Pinellas County. If it just rained on, because you eliminated hurricanes. I'm glad you eliminated hurricanes. If it just rained on the city of Oldsmar, we would never have any flooding. We take all that water, probably around 7,000, no, it was 8,000 acres, probably 5,000 or 6,000 acres. So our watershed goes all the way to Keystone. We have to take that water. Unless you can come up with a plan to take it over to Tarpon or take it over to Hillsborough County, I would really see, I'd love that plan. Can you do that? You can't. Go ahead.
We can, but to answer your question, to define the watershed, we look at typically the city boundary, and also the topography. So we don't randomly stop along the city boundary.
Did you take in consideration all the rain we're taking from Keystone?
Inflows coming from the north,
Okay.
primarily Brooker Creek.
See, we don't have that kind of flooding anymore because Hillsborough County, we cut them off.
Yeah, from the Hillsborough County.
And then the East Lake in that area, but I think if you're going to talk about it, talk about all the water we're taking from Pinellas County. I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call
And
it.
I think he did. I mean, he just addressed that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done stormwater modeling for 20 years, so I'm well aware of how it all works. And, it is definitely a bunch of watersheds that ultimately interconnect, and one of them is that particular
We have
one.
the big one.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, that's not anything new, so.
We did put in the boundary interactions coming from north and the east.
The model does take into account the water that comes into the city and that flows out towards Hillsborough.
Yeah. Do you know how many drainage basins we have? That's okay.
I do know. But
We have three. Three.
Well, I mean, it depends on how far you want to break it down.
Well, we can only break it down to three.
Well, I mean, but you can break that stuff down as micro as you want, drainage basins.
Well, you can, but the one drainage basin goes right by Sperry or Lockheed Martin. The other one comes down, which which was the drainage that we.
Just so I can get to other people, is there a question?
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, my question was, what have you done about it? Mayor?
Well, they've taken that into consideration, and I appreciate that. I do have some questions, only 147 of them, but I'll go ahead and default.
Mayor, is it possible to get a copy of that, Nan, a copy of that? Because I didn't have it in my agenda
it wasn't on the
packet.
agenda.
I'd like to review that.
Sure, I can get it to you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to come down and look at the model.
And when is the update on the plan completed? It's completed now?
It's complete, yes.
And so does that incorporate certain economic considerations we should be making in terms of the capital improvement budget? I would
Yes.
assume.
But I did give them a 10-minute limit on how much they could describe here.
Well, I'm sure we'll see it from Nan in due time, but
Future mayor, one thing we can do, you can recommend, is that Pinellas County pay us to take their water into the bay. That would be great.
I mean, I think there's an argument for that if we could demonstrate that that was in fact the case. I mean, you certainly
Yeah,
can
you
make
got
that
that
argument,
right.
for sure. The question I have, and maybe you said it and I'm not sure. So we modeled the existing conditions and what's out there, and I assume if I remember the dates right, the calibration actually came as a result of that 11 days of nonstop rain that we had. Is that what that was? Because I know the Douglas Burbank thing, we were actually out there with some of the clients that are along Burbank there, and I appreciate that being in there. I don't appreciate the storm, but it really does when you can calibrate it. I've calibrated many models, and when you can do it to real time and benchmark certain things, it's great. Did you so you modeled the existing conditions? Did you look at any proposed changes that maybe not to the micro component of it, but some changes that could be addressed? We don't need to go into that. But.
Yeah, we did take a look at the 5 projects that was on the last screen. Those are the 5 areas we looked at proposed improvements, like adding a new pond or adding secondary outfall or improving the pipes, existing pipes.
Yeah, because some of them I think are just, especially up in that industrial area, are just undersized. And, you got a bigger pipe draining into a smaller pipe. It just doesn't make any sense. The one big question I guess I have is one of the big restrictions, actually 2, I guess you would find, is coming out of Tower Lake. I would assume under the railroad tracks is probably. A little sticky, only because it's the CSX and then ultimately the DOT, and then the other one is the Lockheed Martin ditch that is also DOT. I mean, you can put in whatever you want in proposed conditions, but damned if DOT is going to let you tear up. I mean, were you finding that those are severely undersized?
Yeah, they are. Both Lockheed Martin and also on the east side where the Tower Lake is, I think the systems are undersized. So we proposed a pond just north of the Tower Lake, a little bit north, I think.
Well, when we did the Burbank project, that eliminated a lot of that coming from the Tower Lake.
Yeah.
Well, once we did that project, the industrial part didn't get as flooded as it used to.
Sure. So there is some, and they're severely undersized. Do you think DOT, have we had any discussion with DOT, Nan, on,
Not initiated the discussions with the plan has just been finished
Sure,
with the
okay.
recommendations, but no, we have not initiated the discussions with DOT.
Okay, anything else, any questions? I love it, I could listen to this all night.
Very much.
Oh, what, you want to talk about numbers and things like that?
let's get right down. Let's go back to
Financial
finance and brag about their report certificate they won.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Tell Rick I said, hey, we go way back, so. City Attorney?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for keeping it short. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Item 11 is waive bid requirements and award Matheson Tri-Gas Incorporated the carbon dioxide contract utilizing the Sarasota County contract number 153-126-0100. Piggyback form is 16-007. Requesting council authorization to waive bid requirements, as I previously mentioned, for the liquid carbon dioxide for fiscal year 18-19 for Matheson Tri-Gas, per the same pricing terms and conditions as the Sarasota County contract. The original contract was executed on October 26, 2015, and has been extended through October 25, 2019. Carbon dioxide is used in the potable water treatment process at the reverse osmosis water treatment plant for alkalinity and pH adjustment. The funding in the amount of $60,500 has been budgeted for this purchase in the fiscal year 2019 ROWTP operating budget. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second? Motion and a second. And in prior years, these would all fall under, these things would fall under consent docket. And Al and I had discussions about this, and it was his idea to move them out, just so we can have a little bit of dialogue when we're talking about piggybacking on other contracts. That's more for the public than anybody else. But motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 11 is approved changing Celebrate Oldsmar to reduce the event to 1 day, move the date to the first weekend of October. Background is Celebrate Oldsmar is traditionally impacted by inclement weather and rain because of the time of year when it's held, which is generally around the Labor Day weekend. The impact causes a significant strain on city resources and reduces the effectiveness as a community event on Labor Day weekend. During council comments at the September 4th, 2018 City Council meeting, council members discussed the idea of moving the date for Celebrate Oldsmar. After researching potential dates and other potentially competing events, city staff recommends moving the Celebrate Oldsmar event to the first weekend in October. City staff further recommends reducing the event to 1 day, which would alleviate the impact on city resources and concentrate the event for increased effectiveness as a community gathering. A side note, the Leisure Service Advisory Board addressed this item at their November 13th, 2018 meeting and voted 8-1 to recommend to the City Council that they continue to celebrate Oldsmar at the same time of year and reduce the event to 1 day. I would ask Gina or Ms. Carmen, I wasn't totally sure if the recommendation on same time of year, I interpreted that to mean the same general time of year, that there was no problem with us bumping it back to early October from Labor Day weekend. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. That's the background.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? My only question is, what was the one abstaining vote, and what was their reason? Do we know? Oh, hi, Katie. Well, yeah, I don't care. Do we know why? I just want to.
I don't.
She was the
Katie.
abstaining.
Okay, go ahead, Katie. Yep.
I didn't abstain. I voted.
I'm sorry, not abstain, voted against, right?
Yeah, I voted against just because I noted a lot of similarities between Oldsmar Days and Celebrate Oldsmar. And it seemed at the time when we were discussing it, it was whether to completely cancel it. There wasn't an option of moving it to October. So the discussion was, should we continue having Celebrate Oldsmar, or should we just dial it back to have Oldsmar Days and move the fireworks to Oldsmar Days? So I happen to be more in favor of putting the fireworks at Oldsmar Days and instead implementing some type of other arts event that's less similar to Oldsmar Days, because they seem to kind of overlap. So
Perfect. Nope.
that's all.
That's good. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I know we spend, like, I think Al told me it was somewhere around $18,000 was a guess is what we spent on fireworks. I agree, moving it makes a lot of sense. I don't know how many times we've gone out there to a mud pit, and it's been brutal. But I would also throw into the mix, and certainly it does not need to be part of this motion, but I think this is a good time to discuss it, and that is potentially having the city manager discuss with the chamber whether or not this is an event that the chamber might consider taking over. And let me give you my logic behind that. The staff, even if tonight, when you were sitting there rattling off all the events that we're doing right now as staff, this is a pretty trying, long event that the staff does. And certainly those who from staff want to continue to do it can certainly volunteer their time and participate. I don't know that the chamber would take it 100%, but I would bet that they would have an appetite to take it on. And I think it's certainly worth something that, you know, the city could, as was some of the discussion that the city might still continue to pay for fireworks, but put it on to Oldsmar Days. I think it would make sense for us to try to get the city to lessen their workload a little bit if it's something that can be worked out between the city and the chamber.
Yeah, I agree. I like the idea of actually using the fireworks at Oldsmar Days. I mean, we have significantly more people. That event is about celebrating Oldsmar and the history. You know, I think originally too, we even did it on a different date because we were competing with like
It was 4th of July
4th of July
originally.
with other
Yeah.
cities and Safety Harbor, and why spend the money on fireworks when our residents can watch Safety Harbor's fireworks? So it is a big expense. I mean, why not include it as part of Oldsmar Days? Because think about, like you said, all the events we heard tonight, and then you get into the holidays right after October. We have Oktoberfest, then the holidays, and then the Winter Wonderland and all those things. It feels like a lot around the holidays for city staff.
It was changed because on the 4th, it used to be on the Oldsmar Days, that Saturday, because Oldsmar Days was only on Saturday. And it was changed because we had 16 inches of rain on that 4th of July.
Yeah.
So we changed it, what we said was that we'll change it to another day where it won't rain, and we actually changed it to another day where it did rain.
Mayor, a couple things.
Yep.
We used to do it one day a weekend, then we changed it during the centennial to 2. And to Eric's point about the $17,000 fireworks, that's true, but we could, the sponsorship money pays for that, is that correct?
Yes, a lot of it is sponsored,
It's
or
all
it was
sponsorship
at one
money.
time.
That's an Al question, I think?
Whether it's all sponsored? No.
No, not by the time you get into
Well, our
bands.
fireworks for the centennial was sponsorship money.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We know, Dan.
Okay, all right.
You know.
Well, then I have one other question. I guess this question is for Felicia. We used to do the hamburgers and hot dogs years ago. The employees would cook, and that was something that the residents really enjoyed. I know that's, like Eric said, it's time consuming for the volunteers. But is that something that you might consider again in the future?
I could answer that. I know it. Yeah, you can come on up. I know it's exactly what she's going to say.
Well, we need to,
We don't have a health permit.
we need another discussion to put all that together.
Okay, hold on.
Just to answer the food question, it's, in my opinion, it's not in our best interest to provide food in that vehicle. And a lot of that has to do with inventory. We don't have health certificates. When you start serving food as a municipality, you're no longer like a volunteer who serves food. That comes with a different amount of requirements. So I would suggest that we don't do that. And that's why we went to the food trucks.
Yes, I was going to say, similar to the requirements that the food trucks have to meet the health standards and permits and
Mayor, I have a question
things
for
like that.
We're just not equipped for that here.
I have a question for you personally, not to put you on the spot, but personally, we're discussing tonight reducing it to one day. Do you feel like it's worth it to do that one day, or to not have it at all and incorporate that time, energy, and money into Oldsmar Days as the celebrate
Here
Oldsmar?
comes her politically correct answer.
I'm responsible for that discussion. Staff meeting, after the meeting where you guys first discussed it, we talked about and recommended that we eliminate it, or to clarify the way Katie presented it, and I apologize if it was presented to you incorrectly, move it to the springtime because we have a lot of expense in the fall event, and essentially make it as if all we were doing was contributing the fireworks to the chamber event.
We'll put it
used to
on
be
the
called
agenda
Founder's Day.
items.
For the sake of moving this discussion along, we have a motion and a second on the item as it appears on the agenda. My suggestion might be to table this item, let Felicia and/or Al visit with the chamber, see if this is something that might be of interest to them, to move it to to Oldsmar Days and do the fireworks on Saturday night.
Well, Mr. Mayor, we could table it, but I would suggest that we vote on it and see what they come back with. I mean, we still have
Okay,
the
I mean, we can vote
ability-
on,
And, because at least we could define that, and I speak against, just for the record, I speak against eliminating Celebrate Oldsmar altogether.
Yeah, I think the Chambers has enough events going on. I'm not sure they would want to take it on.
I think they would.
I don't know.
Why don't we just vote on
yeah,
this?
hold on, okay. If you don't mind, I'll do this, if that's okay. So the motion is to consolidate it to one day to the first week in October.
Yes, Saturday.
Right, okay, but how, and I guess just for my clarification and what we're doing, what is the discussion then about Oldsmar Days? And there was a discussion about fireworks for that. Would this be two completely separate
I would assume they are.
relationships?
That's not what the motion was. The motion was to move Celebrate
No, I
Oldsmar.
get that,
Right.
but I don't want to, I'm in favor, I don't want to vote tonight to either approve or eliminate what's on the table right now without some discussion about the other one. What's your thought on this Oldsmar Days then?
But,
So this,
I mean,
they
clearly
would be
you could put
two separate, two
yeah, I mean, you
completely
could put
separate-
it back on the, it's a separate agenda item, honestly. I mean, you could bring it back as an agenda item. You know, we've established we're moving it. We could always bring back whether or not fireworks and when the city pays for fireworks and that type of thing. But, and my only suggestion was just for purposes of conversation, and that was have our city manager reach out to the chamber and see if that's something that might come back to council as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think my suggestion would be we could vote on it as it stands tonight, and then to Eric's point that, and in addition, should we potentially move it to Oldsmar Days altogether? I'd
So
like
it's
to
not
see-
necessarily a done deal.
Yeah, like, let's just
Okay,
see
I'm
what the
fine with that. I
options
just wanted to
are.
make sure that,
You know, I trust the
Well, the
staff
more we
to-
talk about this, the more convoluted it's going to get. That's why we just need to vote on it.
okay. Jerry, if you don't mind, I'd like to have some discussion so we know exactly what we're voting on, if that's okay.
We're voting on,
I understand.
To go on
It's a
one
little-
day.
We've kind of melded two things together, and I want to make sure that we give them both their adequate attention. So, so the motion is to vote on it as it stands tonight, but revisit it and potentially either combine it with Celebrate Oldsmar Days at some point?
Or have the
The motion
chamber-
doesn't
yeah.
include the.
No, I know it
motion.
doesn't, but
Okay.
that's the thought process?
Direction for staff, yes.
That's the thought process? Is
Yeah.
that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think, I agree with you.
Eric, I know that was,
Well, I'm not a fan of that, but I think that
Chamber
is
wants to
certainly
take it.
worth coming back with discussion in the future, yeah.
I mean, just to talk to them and see if it's something.
Oh, no, I'm a fan of the chamber part of it.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Okay,
totally.
okay. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you. Clear?
No.
Clear as mud?
Tom, could you explain what happened with the motion?
So the motion was that you were going to do a one-day event, and it's going to be in the,
First week in October. I think.
just the first week in October. There was, although there was discussion of Saturday, it wasn't in the motion.
That's fine.
Okay, so beyond that, I've just been instructed to conversationally reach out to the chamber, and depending on what I get, bring that back as a separate item?
Yeah.
as a
That's not part of the
conversation.
motion. That was kind of the discussion.
So the only thing we've officially done is
Reduced it.
we've approved moving it to beginning of October and reducing it to one day.
At this point, yeah.
That's
Okay.
it.
We did not direct staff to which day we were talking about.
No.
It was not in the motion.
It should be.
It should be whatever the Saturday is. Is that what we're saying, the first Saturday in
Made the
October?
motion originally?
Well, we didn't say which,
Gabby,
we
would you
just
make
said
a
down
motion? You
from
could make a motion to
2
reconsider.
or 3 days, so we were looking for guidance on if we agree on one day, which day?
We want it,
Let's do another motion. Is it going to be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Whatever you want to.
Make a motion that we make it on Saturday?
Do I have a second?
Second?
Second? Motion and a second. That's the first Saturday in October?
Correct.
Is that correct? Is that
Yep.
the understanding, and is that the understanding of the leisure services and everybody else that was what
We
you're?
didn't have a recommendation, we were just saying, whatever you guys want to
Okay.
do, we'd like it to be the first weekend in October, either the Friday or the Saturday or the Sunday.
Got it. Motion
Like
is
it to
first.
be in March.
Motion is first Saturday in October. We have a first and a second. All those in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. And then I think, if I'm correct, there was some direction as to initiating some dialogue with the chamber as to working with us on events, regardless of what they are, and letting them be involved, I think.
Is that by consensus?
Was that by consensus? Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Dan?
Sure, if you want, sure.
Barry?
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it should come back and we have a discussion
Well,
on
they're
it.
going to have some dialogue with them first and let them do
Can
the
have
groundwork.
yeah, you and him can have dialogue with them anytime you want.
Thank you for that. I'm glad.
You're welcome.
Next item.
Ready? Item 12, approve renewal of agreement for citywide janitorial services to United States Service Industries, Inc., as amended. On December 6, 2017, the city executed a contract with USSI to provide janitorial services at city facilities. The initial contract period was through December 5th of 2018, just tomorrow, with the contract calling for an automatic annual renewal. But since the execution of the contract, the city had increased service levels with renovations to the State Street Center. So this additional service resulted in an increase of $183.88 per month and represented the reason why we're bringing it back to council. The estimated annual expense is $100,057.68 with funds allocated in the general fund. Staff recommends approval.
Need a motion for discussion?
Second.
Second. Got a motion and a second discussion on this item? How many years are we into this with them, the janitor?
This will be the second with them. Years ago, we did a contract for janitorial with Jana King a long time ago. That didn't last about a year. So we've done it before, but this would be a renewal as amended for this particular group.
And is the before you reference, is that before facilities took it over in the town turn of the economy, or after we took it from facilities?
It was the economy
A little
at the
bit of
time.
both.
Okay.
We tried it because we thought facilities was being overwhelmed with projects and the responsibilities of doing the janitorial. So we RFP'd it, sent it out, didn't have a good experience, gave it back to facilities.
Okay.
Now facilities has so much to do. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys have seen them do construction projects.
Yeah.
So they have so much on their plate now. We decided to do it, put it out again. And I would say they're doing fine.
Okay.
This time around.
Much more effective use of staff time, I would assume, for sure.
So far, yeah, I think facilities has gotten a lot more productive and a lot more freed up to do other things that we think are a better use of their time.
Yep, okay. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Thank you. 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 13 is adopt resolution 2018-24, authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Forward Pinellas Planning and Placemaking Grant Program, committing local matching funds and assuring project completion. Forward Pinellas created the Planning and Placemaking Grant to assist local governments in their work to strengthen the character of Pinellas County's many distinct communities. The program can help local governments by funding activities and initiatives that help establish or reinforce a sense of place, which, as we know, is one of the council priorities. Forward Pinellas is seeking applications that are innovative, contribute to an area's sense of place, are located in underserved areas, which for us is the Community Redevelopment Area, or CRA, and are a part of the community's broader revitalization and redevelopment efforts or vision. City of Oldsmar is intending to submit an application to conduct a feasibility study of the proposed Top of the Bay Innovation Center, or TOBIC. TOBIC is envisioned to be located in the CRA and will stimulate economic development, innovation, and partnership in the upper Tampa Bay region. The feasibility study is estimated to cost a total of $50,000, which would, if we get the grant, include a local contribution of $25,000 and a grant of $25,000. I will read the resolution by title only. Resolution 2018-24, a resolution authorizing the filing of an application for grant funds through Forward Pinellas through the Planning and Placemaking, or PPM, Grant Pilot Program, committing local matching funds and stating the assurance of the City of Oldsmar to complete the project. Mayor, that completes the reading of Resolution 2018-24.
Thank you. Maria's here. Do you have any? Oh, yeah, there you are. You blend in with the chair. I didn't see you there for a second.
It'd be Felicia.
Yeah, huh? Felicia, yeah. Anything to add to it? No, this is I was on Fort Pinellas just a month ago, and this must be a fairly new program. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. It's in the second year, so they funded two projects this year.
Oh, cool. Okay, perfect. Motion? Motion from Gabby, second from Dan. All those in favor?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, discussion?
Yeah, I just had some discussion. I was just curious. I know, I love the project. I love the idea of what we're working on. I don't like that we didn't, as a council, really dig into it, because I think it provides everybody to have more input on moving forward. But I also recognize the way it came about, because of the uniqueness of the end of the year, where the governor was on his way out. There was a window of opportunity, but I don't want it to be lost on the council that I think these kinds of things need to come before council to actually, I don't think there'd be an issue of the council.
Education?
Well, I don't think there'd be an issue with the council saying, yes, this is what we want to do, right? Because that's the job of the council, not staff, right? So I'm going to make a point of saying it only because so that it's not a trend, right? I think it came about because we needed to put something together that was kind of a consensus in individual conversations. But I still think it's important from a from a council standpoint, to have that discussion publicly, via a workshop, whatever it might be, even if it's up here on a shorter basis. So so is there some other area that we think we might be able to, some other pot of money that we might go after for that 16 million?
We're going to be lucky to get anything out of this. We'll be lucky to get anything out of that, and they can't do a thing with that money. They make a program,
Right.
but they can't do a thing until they bring it to council.
Right. I understand that we're talking about investing money to move forward. This is the first time we've spent any money on it, is kind of the
Well,
point.
we're not going to spend anything
Yeah, we
unless
will.
we get it.
25 grand.
Yeah, it's $25,000, which is, you need to have that feasibility study to be viable from a competitive standpoint. Understand that. But is there a pot of money as it relates to the 16 million that I know we had some hope that we were going after? Is it the same area with the state?
The answer is yes. We've been working with Representative Grant on this as a concept, which you know, and to your point, which is well taken, we have done nothing official other than put something together that we hope to get in front of the governor. Because of Hurricane Michael, we never got a chance to present it, with Representative Grant's advising us. What he's also advised us in our other research is that it is conceivable that we will be able to make a legislative ask out of it, which would be the other pot of money. My only concern there was whether or not we would be preempting, which I don't want to do, the possibility of making another ask for the Harbor Palms project, which we asked for and didn't get last year. I've been informed by both Representative Grant and our lobbyist that they are separate pots of money, and Representative Grant is really on board with this and has told us that he believes, it's a viable ask from the economic development potential standpoint. So we were assuming that we were going to make that pitch at some point, but as you pointed out, the original creation of it was literally just us brainstorming to try and put something together that spoke to what we had planned with Representative Grant to get in front of the governor. So, yeah, as you stated, in order to get this feasibility study funded, it's more just, yes, we have an idea, here it is, if Ford Pinellas likes it, they'll give us the half of the money to do a feasibility study for it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, doesn't mean the ask is going to be approved. It's just the same way we do the complete streets. We had a long-range transportation plan, which helped us prevail in a priority sense in getting a grant. That's really all it does, but I absolutely see your point, and we're not trying to circumvent the council in any shape or form. As you know, we shared it with you, but we're not really sure that this is, we wouldn't know where to put it. Right now, there's very little known about the specifics other than we had an idea, this was the idea, and we think it would be positioned in a better sense to go after this grant by saying, we'll use this idea as to say we're this far along. The only other thing we can do, if allowed or encouraged, would be make the legislative ask, keep it separate from the Harbor Palms ask, and hope we get lucky on one of those two fronts.
Yeah, well, even potentially, I mean, we might get a partial funding of it, which could, create a longer tail for future funding on it. I mean, I don't know that we got 16 million in the first year, but I also love the idea. I mean, I speak in favor of the motion, but I want to make a point of saying that. The other thing, I think there's some brilliance in it. So to both of you, I mean, there's some brilliance in it, especially as it relates to the big elephant in the room out there with downtown, which is parking.
Yeah.
And how do you pay for that? And so it kind of accomplishes both. I looked at the place down in Punta Gorda that it's modeled after, and it looks like it's really loved it. It's I think a really good fit here. And anyhow, I just felt compelled to say that, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
And this isn't the first time we've come across this, where these are the necessary evil things that you got to do to be able to check that box that you have. I was on Forward Pinellas, and you know, I hate studies, you know, like anybody else, but it's one of those things that you got to show that you did it, that there's some backing for, you know,
Well, when
the
you're,
ask.
when you're standing in line with 3 other people, 10 other people, and you're the only one who's been serious enough to invest the money and have a feasibility study.
Moves you ahead.
Moves you in front of the others. I mean, it's just kind of
No question about it.
Mayor, if I could just add to, and I appreciate, you know, Al giving us a heads up. I know it was something that was done really quickly. I personally really appreciate the proactiveness, the brilliance to Eric's point. I think it's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
It's one we hadn't mentioned or thought of before as a council in previous discussions with downtown. City of Clearwater is doing a huge kind of incubation for new ideas, innovation. Tampa's doing it with Vinick. St. Peter is doing it. I mean, it's something that we need in North Pinellas for high-tech companies to take us seriously and to bring in those high technology, high-paying jobs we really want and have been talking about having here for a long time. So I'm thrilled. I hope you get the grant. Even if we don't, I hope we still consider the idea and moving it forward. I think it's a really, really great idea, and I really hope it comes to fruition.
I hope it might even get the attention of Venick somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think?
The brilliant part of the whole thing is how quick she put all this
I think it's
together.
That's
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
Great work.
Great
And
job.
you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you know?
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
it's
think
great.
it's great that it's a program that's available and not many people know about it. I mean, I'd never heard about it, and I was on Ford Pinellas for 2 years. So do we know what the time frame is for submissions and when they decide, roughly?
I don't know when they decide. The deadline is December the 21st.
So I would assume maybe first quarter, within the first quarter, they would probably decide, or even, or, yeah, sooner than that. So, good. We'll know sooner rather than later. I think it's awesome. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And look at that, our city clerk has something.
I
Two
do
things.
indeed. Item number 14, approve external request for the use of the city seal for 2019. Florida statute states that use of the municipal seal without express approval of the governing body is a second-degree misdemeanor. This is something we do every year. The list of agencies that would like to use the city seal is the same as last year with one exception. The annual Honor Our Heroes 5K Memorial Run is addition, and so I recommend the approval of the use of the city seal.
And through that, because I was part of the dialogue, they actually used it, but it was a one-off approval that we had. Now they're part of the list, or what was the?
A one-off approval, no.
There was, but-
we just said, well, let's add you to the list next year.
Okay, add it to the list, but, okay. That's right, because they've broken off on their own from that previous organization.
And sometimes it happens, but that is an event where the city council historically waives some of the fees
Right.
and the city helps with the run, so.
Yeah, it was run by a different organization, and now it's run by local, so I think that's great. And there have been instances where people have inappropriately used the seal, so that's good to at least have the list so we can go after somebody, so. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 15, adopt resolution 2018-23 declaring Eric Seidel as mayor, Dan Saracki as council member seat 2, and prescribing the final ballot language for the March 12, 2019 municipal general election. The qualifying period is over. Mayor Seidel was qualified unopposed for mayor. Dan Saracki qualified unopposed for seat 2. There are 3 candidates who qualified for seat 1 and 2 candidates who qualified for seat 4. There's also the referendum question, which council had approved a couple of meetings ago. I'm going to read resolution 2018-23 by title only. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, declaring Eric Seidel as mayor, Dan Saracki as council member seat 2, and prescribing the ballot language for the 2019 municipal election for position of council seat 1 and council seat 4, and asking the referendum question regarding authorizing City Council to grant ad valorem tax exemptions to new businesses and expansions of existing businesses that are expected to create new full-time jobs in the city and providing for an effective date hereof. So I would recommend you adopt resolution 2018-23.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Can I vote here? Yes.
Congratulations, Eric.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
congrats.
Anything else?
Yes, I just want to give a huge and heartfelt thank you to Oldsmar Historical Society. They are an excellent partner with the city, and earlier they decked the halls with all sorts of decorations out there, and I really appreciate it. So I'm giving
All
thank you.
right.
Nice job. Anything else? City Council. Next is approve the excused absence of Councilmember McGee from our January 2nd, 2019 City Council meeting. I need a
Here.
motion. Huh?
I vote here.
Okay, whatever.
Go with you.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna be in Brazil that week, that entire week.
Struggle's real, yeah.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next is council comments, and we'll start with Councilmember Beaverland.
Well, thank you. I got a few here. I don't usually have a few, but I got a few here. First of all, you know, we all miss Janice.
Yep.
We all do. And Grace Robinson died 3 days ago. Anybody not know Grace Robinson? Her son just retired from the city of Oldsmar after 30 years. Grace was like Janice. She could stand up in the middle of a council meeting and tell Bruce Haddock he needs to quit. She would tell Jerry Beer, I ain't voting for you this year because I don't like what you did. I said, do you like me? And she'd say, I'm not sure I like you. Then the next year she said, well, I voted for you. You know Grace. I mean, she was like Janice. No, she was worse than Janice. She was tough. And she hasn't been to a council meeting for years, except one time her son brought it here. And it's sad that people like Janice and Grace, who was so involved. Grace would never run for council because she said, I ain't gonna sit up there and listen to somebody bawl me out like I ball you out. And good going, Grace. I noticed I know illegal signs in front of some of these strip centers that we have here in town. They put their own sign out there. I mean, a terrible looking sign, especially down here where Buffalo Bills was, or Buffalo Horns, or wherever they are down here.
Third time's the charm.
The other day, they were just lined up. Homemade signs. You know, I understand, but we have sign laws. So I would hope somebody would check on that. We need to remember the city clerk's office that Kathy's husband had went through the operation and she's doing pretty good. And what's so scary about that, they took his esophagus out and pulled it up and tied it to his throat. When I had that, they told me that if I had waited 8 or 9 more months, that's what they would have been done to me. I'm so thankful that they caught my cancer right in the beginning. I didn't say much about it at the time, that they caught my cancer in the time. So if the city clerk needs help, I'm here to tell them that I'm an advocate to give them help because Kathy's going to be gone for 6 weeks taking care of her husband. And
You're volunteering to do the minutes of the next
I've
meeting?
always volunteered.
To do the minutes, you'll type them up? all the
I
minutes?
ain't typing
There go
any minutes.
there go the results.
They'll be in caps, all caps.
And blue and red.
Red, all
Red.
caps.
Pickers.
I don't really believe that, but you told me I was screaming at you, but no, whatever. I'll answer the phone. I'm good at that. And the medium on Tampa Road, on 580 is incredible. Thank you, ma'am. She's not even paying a bit of attention to me.
Thank you.
I mean, the medium on 580 is incredible. Now, would you please start working on Tampa Road? I got that. I got to get this off my chest, Mayor. I know it's redundant, doesn't going to have a bit of effect on anything, but I think we've been taken by Argo. The cement plant, we have been had. Bruce told me, I think it was 2013 or something like that. And then Al said something and reminded me of something. Marie, did Bruce ever tell you or talk to you about that thing being condemned, or not condemned, but being, I know he did me, that it was over with? They couldn't build that anymore. They couldn't use it anymore because it'd been sitting there for 12 years. Did he ever say anything to you about that?
Only that potentially it could be a brownfield site.
See, Bruce wanted to buy it. Bruce wanted to buy it. He talked to me about it. I didn't remember that until Al said something about it. Bruce had maintained, what's the word I want? That they could never build on there again, that the cement plant was gone forever. And Al said something that kind of made a whole lot of sense. They sold it. They sold it. Because they were told that they couldn't use that plant anymore. It was out of, yeah. They hadn't performed and we should have an ordinance on that. I mean, Tom may tell me we can't do it, but you're gonna sit there so long. But anyway, it made a lot of sense to me what Al had said. They knew they couldn't use that plant anymore, so why not sell it and not tell anybody anything? So what happens? Argo buys it. They come to Bruce, and because Bruce talked to me about this, that I told them they couldn't use that plant anymore. And I think legally, Bruce was in the right. So what does Argo do? Now this is my conjecture. Argo goes to their attorneys because they have absolutely no intentions of opening that plant ever unless they build the stadium, which looks like they may not build the stadium now, but anyway. So the smart attorney says, well, you know what? They won't let us build that, they won't let us use that, so let's do something about it. Let's go down there and take out a permit. And I want to get with you. I want somebody to show me what they damn sure did, because I can't figure it out. I mean, I got this 400-page thing here, I know that. I want to know, when they came in for the permit, at the time, with Bruce saying that thing's out of control, I mean, you can't build that anymore. That should have been put somewhere down in the planning department. That's why I asked if Bruce ever told you something about that. It should have been clear that that plant could never open again. Anyway, they came down here and got a permit. And they had us. And nobody will ever convince me that's not what happened. Anyway, I got that off my chest. But I do want to see where in the hell they did anything.
Here.
Okay, well, somebody take me down there and show me, so that'll shut me up for that.
Private property, Jerry, you can't trespass.
What did he say?
He said, you done? That's what he said.
Now, Oldsmar Cares just got $50,000 from the lightning.
Yep.
Awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay, now, did you get my pictures? Was I wrong?
Half wrong.
Half wrong. No, okay, I want all the pictures back, and I want the council to see the pictures. I'm not half wrong. I'm totally right. The corner of.
Would you like to share what you're talking about with us so we know?
Pine Avenue and Tampa Road, the 7-Eleven, the landscaping. We made them put landscaping. Somebody drive by there, please, and just look at it.
Horrible.
Horrible is not even the right word for it. I took about 15 photos of that damn thing.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's terrible.
It's
Drive over
real
to the
bad.
post office while you were at it?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. See, we make them. We have an ordinance that makes them decorated with plants. And then we turn around and don't do another damn thing. That is horrible. And you say I'm only half right? Baloney. I'm 100% right. It is horrible. We're going to do something about that? Well, see, why I bring this up? Come on. Wait a minute.
I will bring that up to Greg. You know, he worked with the property owner. They replaced the plants along. They replaced the plants on Tampa Road. I didn't bring the pictures here tonight, but then those plants died because they didn't have irrigation naturally. Then they replanted the plants in November, the beginning of November, and we have pictures of that. So the pictures you showed, it was unclear. I'm gonna have Greg go out and, talk to the property owner. I'm not sure where their property line ends.
We made them put them in there, and now they're dead.
The ones that are there now are not dead.
I want that corner cleaned up.
Okay.
I know I can't tell you to clean it up.
All we can do is enforce our codes.
Well, they haven't been enforced. All I can do is have conversations with Al.
We'll take care of it.
Thank you.
There's been contact with them. There'll be
That's
more
the worst damn corner on Tampa Road, and it's ugly.
Well, Steak and Shake cleaned up theirs.
Yes,
Remember
they
last
did.
year we talked about that, and they cleaned theirs up.
They cleaned theirs up. You know what they did? Between all the mess out there, they planted about 4 little tiny damn plants on Pine Avenue. And the rest of it, please, everybody go out there and look at the corner of Pine Avenue and Tampa Road and the 7-Eleven. That is disgusting. Thank you for who you are.
That's one closing, Jerry.
Yeah. You would think they would be interested in doing it because it's up for sale, so you would think they would have an interest.
Really? I mean, it's horrible.
And I mean, we got to be careful. That's a slippery slope because we probably have some of our own buildings that aren't in the best of shape either, so. You done, Ms. McGee?
May I follow?
Yeah, if you want. What tirade do you have?
Congrats to Cindy, that was much deserved, and congrats to our future mayor and Dan.
Thank you.
That was a tough one, so. And also a big thank you to Mike Hurley, 19 years of service to the city. Even before I was on council, when I was working on the historic district idea, he was one of the first employees I ever interacted with the city so many years ago because he was helping me understand topographical maps and things I didn't know anything about. And he was so helpful, and I remember that, clear as day.
He is extremely nice.
Yes, he is such a great
He
employee.
really is.
Are you marking that tape back there?
Will be truly missed here in the city. Thank you for excusing my absence. We do have a Cisco financial shutdown from Christmas on, so that's usually when we take vacation time. Thank you to Brian Mahoney for the nice holiday card. It's always nice to get a card from a resident with a nice note, showing some extra.
With a nice note.
Well, just just thanking you for what you do. Really appreciated that. Merry Christmas to all. We have a few birthdays this month that we're not going to get to celebrate because we don't have a meeting at the later end of this month, but to Chip and Renee and Amy and Alexis, happy early birthday. And Maurice mouthing, and Tom. Tom wasn't in here, but
I keep that hidden.
happy birthday. Happy birthday, Tom. I'm glad that Marie didn't let that or your mustache slip our grasp.
When was your birthday? Didn't I say happy birthday to you?
December 20th. It hasn't, we haven't got there yet.
No, I didn't say happy birthday to you.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sorry.
means we miss it every year because we always cancel that meeting. But happy
You
birthday,
never objects to the
Tom.
cancellation.
That's all I have. Thank you.
We've been doing this for about 22, 23 years now.
Yeah. Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just want to say, Cindy, again, congratulations. And the time that you helped me was incredible. I think we became friends. And I just want to say, you are amazing to work with, and you are a miracle.
She already got reelected.
I know, but I'm just saying, thank you so much.
Dan?
I'm excited.
Dan, she did all the work for you.
I know she did. It's like a magician. Mike, I'm going to miss you, Mike. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to miss you. You were excellent. You always helped me when I needed help. I'm going to miss you, Mike. Congratulations on your new career, and I wish you all the best. The tree lighting today, I just wanted to say that was really a good event. I think it was the largest crowd we've had since I've gone to that.
Yep.
That was a great event. And other than that, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. I'm looking forward to Santa next Wednesday and Saturday night with the fire department. So anyways, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.
They set it up right this year.
Yeah, they did.
Nice, it was nice.
Yeah.
And congratulations, Eric, because being mayor, big thing. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Soon to be mayor, Seidel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I do have a few items. Finance team and Cindy and the whole team who works on that, congratulations. I always, I dork out on the numbers. I read the reports, I think what you should do though, next year, you should put one line in there somewhere,
Swimming pool?
right? Just
Swimming pool?
one sentence that says, "Oh, do you see how blown up I am on the screen?" I have not even gotten to him yet, and I knew that was coming. Oh, thank you, Mike. I just looked down and it scared me.
How we feel.
I think you should. Short timer. You should put one line in there for the council members that says, when you read this, call Cindy. Council members, so that we could see. But anyhow, great work. That's 0.6. You're in the top 0.6% in the nation with the 36,000. That's impressive, and it matters. I mean, it's one of those things that matter. Remind everyone to keep Stephen in your prayers. He goes for recovery that he's going through right now.
Yes.
It sounds so far so good, but he's got a long road. And of course, they got a grandbaby today. So,
Daughter.
Yeah, granddaughter, so blessing, man. But, she watches this, so she knows that she's in our thoughts. Council members, a little update on the ski team. I sent the email, I tried calling. And do you know how many times they've called me back or responded? None. So it was worth a shot, to try to reach out to the CEO.
Can I tell you something? He actually replied to my email.
Who did?
The owner. I sent him an email, he replied to me, and he actually said that I'm gonna look into it and get back to you, but he has not gotten back to
Can
me.
you forward that out to the council?
Sure, I will, yes, I will, yes.
Oh, I should have had you write it then.
He responded to me.
But no, I didn't get a response from him, but
Nothing at all?
not.
I was
not a
shocked
peep.
to get
And I
something.
called and left, I called twice.
I didn't call him, I just sent
Well,
I
that's
sent a
You're
real nice
confused
email.
with that other Eric that was in the paper.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I should have done? What I should have done was said, yeah, this is Eric Settle on your side. Maybe I'd have got a
Right, you
little
got a
faster
response.
response.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I guess that's the way that's going to work out. Great job tonight. I too enjoy. That's Jerry and I were talking about this. One of my favorite events with the kids out there running around. I love the way it got reset tonight. I think that looked really well. Worked good. It makes it. I don't know. It just seemed much more organized that way instead of everyone kind of like cramming up into the top there. And of course the weather cooperated, so that was nice. And also just, thoughts and prayers to the Bush family.
Yeah.
And the passing of President Bush. Yep. I had the opportunity to meet the 41st president and his wife in April of 1997, actually. And he had just left office, but I thought it was going to be a photo op, and it turned out to be a really nice conversation. I had just become president of the USJCs, and he had a past experience as a JC. And so just as a a gentleman as he's portrayed, and Barbara Bush too was just really very friendly. So anyhow, and served our country well. So, and last but not least, I certainly want to wish everyone a very happy Hanukkah if you're Jewish faith, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to all of you as well. That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I don't have much. Also, congratulations to Cindy and the staff, and Al, obviously, who's...
Wait, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I just skipped over it, and it was really an accident.
About that guy?
I do want to say that for those of you, I think a lot of you, especially who are part of the city staff, know that Mike and I have a personal friendship that goes outside of the city and city business and you know, that kind of stuff.
Stop it right there.
And then, so we've enjoyed a lot of laughs and travels.
You do that camera that's from behind if you want, Hurley.
Bald spot, thanks. And we've enjoyed a lot of travels together over the years as personal friends, and you know, I'm not going to say that we've never had a conversation or argument about the city when we might have been somewhere in Europe or Mexico or whatever, but he was one of the people who said to me after I'd been on council before and left, oh man, you got to come back on council. Come on, man, you know, that kind of thing. So I've always appreciated that, and I've appreciated his friendship, and I look forward to, now that he's leaving the city, we can once again say whatever we want about the city and talk to each other. Of course, we have to make Susan leave the room. So, which good luck with that, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, Mike, brother, I wish you well in your new endeavors. I know you'll do great, and we'll celebrate still. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, as I was saying to Cindy and the staff, that's great, you know, and it really is an honor, you know, to be among the, what'd you say, 6%?
6/10 of 1%.
I mean, that's incredible. And it's
You know, I
something
like
that you don't
numbers.
necessarily have to do, but it raises you to a higher standard. And I think, you know, I don't know how you relay that to the residents, but I think it's important for the residents to know how accountable our accounting department is, and, you know, transparent and things like that. And to your point about the line in the report, a friend of mine was doing something similar to that, and it read, actually to Dave Kemper, who, you know, it said, if you read this, I'll buy you a beer. So he came in and goes, beer. So people do that. So Mike, can you put the camera, quit zooming in on me. Can you put the camera on the podium, please? Perfect. Come on out. We want to hear from you. Get out from behind the glass.
He's all he left.
He's got it hooked up from a remote control. He's like, oh man,
You can't go
I'm
drink
busted.
beer till I bang the gavel, so you might as well come on out.
There he comes.
Nah, that did it.
Running it.
You train her well?
Thank you very much.
Give us a Reader's Digest version of what you're going to be doing.
Well, I'm going to go work for BMW Motorcycles and Ducati, probably in a marketing way at first, traveling to different places, hopefully soon, but learning the business and doing what I love, which is motorcycles. It's always been my passion, and just moving on to something different before I get too old to not be able to do it. So.
Are you going to that place in Montana or Wyoming? What do they call that?
Exactly. Yeah, there.
What do they call it?
No, I'm not going to Wyoming or Montana, but no, I'll be working in Odessa. I'll be working in Odessa.
Where all the motorcycles.
Sturgis is what you're doing.
That's Harley Davidson.
That's something different.
That's a whole different thing.
Well, what are you doing?
He's trying to tell you.
Bicycles.
More with the sport. More with the sport bikes, with more of the racing motorcycles. Yeah, more of the racing motorcycles, more of the European circuit, things like that. I mean, Susan and I travel to Europe often to see motorcycle racing.
You mean you're going to
And-
do the same thing Gabby does now?
I can never follow Gabby around the world. She's, maybe half the time. But no, that's my passion, and that's what I want to do. I mean, I've had a great almost 19 plus years here. But it's time to move on and do something different.
And I think you've told city staff this much, that when you hit your milestone that you were retiring, and when you finally did it.
No one believed it.
No one believed it.
I know, well, yeah, Doug and I have talked about it, Eric and I have, of course, talked about it, and, and
Yeah,
Dan
I
has
know.
to, yeah, so.
A couple months ago.
And probably even Tom and I, and
Susan, you know
Faith.
how to Zoom that thing?
She doesn't have no clue. She has no clue. But no, I appreciate the well wishes, and I'm very happy, and I'm sad too. But it's been a long. I've been here since 1999. I started when I was 30 years old here, and so I started as a young man, and it's been a great journey here. And I think it's changed me, and for the better. It's made me stronger, and I think I'm ready for that new challenge. So.
Happy for you, for sure.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, so
All
good
right.
luck to you, and we know you won't be far. I mean, you're still going to live in the area, and you'll still be hanging out at our
I'll still at
events.
the local bars. Yeah, I'll still be around.
Yeah.
Still around here.
Yeah. So
Latin
good.
cherries,
Well, thank
all
you
that
for
stuff,
coming
yeah.
out, and we appreciate you publicly. Whoops, hello.
Yeah.
We're good. A little rusty back there.
Yeah, you better get back to the ship there. So
Cheers.
Thanks. Thank you, Mike.
I want to know whose hand came out of the.
Susan's back
Susan
there.
Hurley. Are you paying attention to this meeting at all?
Susan's
Susan's
back there.
Yes and no.
Not when you're talking.
What?
What hand came out of there?
It's his wife.
It's his wife.
Yeah.
I want to know how she feels about this.
No, we got to get the meeting over. Also, congratulations to Kathy on grandparent, and I know it couldn't have come at a better time because she is definitely in overload and got her hands full. The news is great for Steve, and we expect a speedy recovery so we can have our Kathy back. So thoughts and prayers to them, and I'm sure she'll keep us updated on Facebook. So other than that, I don't have anything. Join us Friday night at Oldsmar Winter Wonderland and the parade and things like that, and we look forward to that. Might challenge the new mayor to a sled ride hill saucer
You're
ride
going
down,
down, man.
Oh yeah, whatever. I'm the new mayor. So anyway, congratulations and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
What was that?